Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Adam Ruzek's devastating family secret revealed in latest Chicago PD. Adam Ruzek, Patrick John Pfluger, is a busy man. He's juggling being a father and a police officer with an impending marriage to another officer, Kim Burgess, Marina Squarciati. He's seen the death of a friend in Chicago PD Season 12, and the departure of several others over the years. Well, Ruzek's life got even harder in the Season 12 episode Zoe. The character took center stage in terms of the IU case, but it was the personal scenes that really made it one of the most important for the character in quite a while. Ruzek's father, Bob, Jack Coleman, showed up and revealed something that will radically alter the character's life moving forward. Bob revealed that he has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. The character is initially hesitant to share his secret with his son, given how tense their interactions have been in the past. A moment of truth comes, however, after Ruzek begins to notice his father's odd behavior. Ruzek insisted that his father move in with him, Burgess, and their daughter Michaela, Ramona Edith Williams. Bob was initially hesitant, fearing that he would be a burden on the family. He also balked at the idea of Ruzek seeing his deteriorating mental state. The former police officer relented, though, and agreed to move in by the end of the episode. This is a pretty devastating change for Ruzek and Burgess, especially as they struggle to juggle their professional lives with the planning of their impending wedding. There was not a lot of time before, but there is absolutely less of it now. Patrick John Pfluger, the actor who plays Ruzek, spoke to TV Line about the familial revelation, and he admitted that it's going to take a while for his character to fully process. He loves his dad very, very much, Pfluger noted, and to find out that things are going to go south for him, I think, is soul-crushing. Bob and Burgess have never had the closest relationship, but it's a testament to the latter that she is fully on board with bringing him into the house. She's totally supportive, Pfluger added. I think she wants him there for all of the reasons Adam does. I think she is going to be more protective, and she is going to be more cognizant. We did not see an Alzheimer's storyline coming on Chicago PD, but we're curious to see how this impacts Ruzek's life, in ways both positive and negative, moving forward. Chicago PD Season 12, Episode 10 Review. So, Chicago PD Season 12, Episode 10 Zoe is an episode about Adam Ruzek, and also an episode about how life gets better and more complicated. The hour reveals that Adam's dad has Alzheimer's, just as it gives us Adam and Michaela discussing his and Kim's future wedding like it's a normal conversation the family has around the dinner table. And in many ways, that's what we've been waiting for. The level of casual domesticity of Ruzek we see in this episode is part of the backbone of this show in Season 12, and it really shouldn't have taken until Episode 10 for us to get it. But of course, since Chicago PD has been the type of show to only remember these characters have personal lives when it's a character-centric episode, that's where we stand. Before, though, we used to get ship-centric episodes. We haven't in a while. Of course, the show only really has one ship these days, Ruzek, but this fact hasn't actually gotten Adam and Kim more screen time as a couple. If anything, it's like we've seen way less of them lately, as the show has decided it just doesn't need romance. We're fine just focusing on the cases and sometimes on how these officers handle those cases. Nothing more. That, however, is not what drew people to this show in the first place. It's not what most successful procedurals are doing. In fact, at this point, Chicago PD is starting to look like a dinosaur in procedural land. Of the one Chicago shows, it's the only one that insists on this separation, on the idea that we can only delve into characters' feelings if the episode is dedicated to them. And if we look at the wider landscape of procedurals, well, it's hard to find one that functions like Chicago PD. Newer procedurals like Brilliant Minds and High Potential are proving that the idea of success for procedurals comes from a strong cast of interconnected characters. And though sure there is a need to focus more on one character or the other, depending on the hour, these newer shows never seem to forget about the ensemble as they move from case to case. Older shows like 9-1-1 and NCIS continue to be successful because the characters talk to each other and share their problems, because we learn a little about each of them every day. Chicago PD, meanwhile, keeps choosing an approach that means that, in this episode, we only care about Adam. We only learn about Adam. We only know Adam. And at times it works. At the end of this episode, as Adam helps his dad shave, it feels like the approach isn't all that bad. We're invested. But in general, it's so hard to care about these characters if we have to put our caring on pause for 3 or 4 weeks until the show decides it's time for us to care about this specific person again. That means Chicago PD has to hit a home run for us to care. And if we're being honest, their batting average isn't anything to celebrate. Chicago PD's Patrick John Pfluger talks Ruzek's soul-crushing struggle with his dad and serial killer case. First, the officer stumbled upon the dead bodies of a mother and a young child during a wellness check. Inside the home, Ruzek also found a young girl named Zoe sitting in her room, unaware of the horror in the nearby bedroom. After talking to Zoe, Ruzek and intelligence realized they were investigating a serial killer who preys on single mothers, then murders them and their children. At home, Ruzek was also dealt a heavy blow when his dad Bob, guest star Jack Coleman, showed up for an unannounced visit and started to exhibit strange behavior. Eventually, Bob confessed to his son that he has Alzheimer's in a personal moment that mirrored what was going on in Ruzek's professional world. Ruzek meets a young girl that doesn't know who she is or thinks she knows who she is, but ultimately she's not related to the man that has her kidnapped. So we don't know who she is. She doesn't know who she is, says Patrick John Pfluger, who plays Ruzek. Meanwhile, his dad, the man who raised him, is coming in and telling him he's forgetting who he is. So all the while he's trying to give this person back their identity, he's watching someone he loves lose their own. When it comes to Zoe, it's more important for Ruzek to give her back her real name and sense of self than it is to catch the serial killer, Thomas Cronin, who remains at large at the conclusion of this week's hour. He's clearly smart. He's a serial killer. He's gotten away with it for this long, Pfluger notes. That said, I don't see him as being a threat to myself or my family or even this child, certainly not at the end of this episode. I think we recovered her. We got her away from him. While the unit definitely wants to find Cronin and stop him from ever killing again, it's more about helping this little kid than it is about figuring out exactly who he is, Pfluger continues. I know that sounds callous, but she's immediate. She's right there. She's something that's tangible. She's right in front of me. I can gift her name back tomorrow, maybe. Him, trying to find a ghost, trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's harder than you'd think. On the home front, Ruzek was intent on coming to his dad's aid, insisting that Bob move in with him, Burgess and Michaela. Bob was initially reluctant, not wanting Ruzek to see his deteriorating state, but he agreed after Ruzek wouldn't accept no for an answer. Fearing that someday he might not be able to tell him, Bob told Ruzek that he loves him and he's proud of him. He loves his dad very, very much, and to find out that things are going to go south for him, I think, is soul-crushing, Pfluger shares. Having a parent with Alzheimer's move into your family's home is also not an easy situation to deal with. So how will Ruzek and Burgess handle this new living arrangement? I think Kim likes Bob as an individual. I think Kim, as a partner, as a fiancée to me, and as a mother to his grandchild, probably has some reservations and misgivings about some of the activities that Bob partakes in with Michaela, Pfluger says. But now with the Alzheimer's thing and him moving in, I think she's totally supportive. I think she wants him there for all of the reasons Adam does. But again, I think she is going to be more protective, and she is going to be more cognizant. As for Ruzek, he'll have some difficulty accepting the reality of his dad's health moving forward. You'll see in the future, Adam believes in his dad and believes that if we just keep doing crossword puzzles, if we keep your brain moving, if we keep you engaged, we're going to beat this thing or we're going to put it off, it's going to be fine. You just keep talking, you just keep saying my name, we're going to be fine, Pfluger describes. Whereas that's just not how it works when it comes to dementia. He's not coming from a scientific place, from a medical place.